It's the 8th of September and we set off at first light. The wind's already blowing 15 knots, so we get the sails up straight away. We've worked out our course to sail based on the east and west going tide and an average boat speed of 5.5 knots. But what we hadn't expected was to have so much tide with us. We whizzed along and arrived at our waypoint 2 hours early. So this gave us extra time to check in at the marina office and go and have a look around. The port police weren't visiting the marina again till the morning, so we'd have to wait until then to get our passports stamped. We only stayed 2 nights in Cherbourg and then headed off once again. The sea was still very choppy as we went around the headland at Point de Barfleur, and there was a very strong tide, but if you get it right, it can be very helpful, and with 18 knots of wind, we were sailing at 11 knots. We needed to time it right to get into St Vast because it dries, and so at high tide and 7 metres of water, in we went through the gate. When we went off for a walk and looked out at low tide, it was quite difficult to believe that this is where we'd actually sailed across. The rain did finally stop and we got out for a lovely walk around the town. The fort was built in the late 17th century and still remains under military ownership and is not accessible to the public, although we did enjoy a nice walk around the outside. With the winds blowing over 25 knots, we decided against walking the perimeter wall, unlike these two. We only stayed here in the end a couple of nights because the high tide times changing each day meant it was going to get quite difficult choosing a suitable time to leave. When we arrived, the visitor pontoon was full, but a local man on his boat called out to us and told us that the space next to him was free. To walk from the marina into town, you have to go over the lock bridges. It's always interesting to see where we came in. There are 2 locks, one for commercial vessels and one for recreational craft, and a new waiting pontoon as well. There's lots to see and do here, and especially if you like history. There's a very big tidal range in this lock, so you've got to get your lines right. This is where we came through. With the geese as our morning alarm clock, we were up and about early, ready to wait for the lock opening. There was only 2 of us in the lock that morning, and we managed to get secured on to the vertical cables that hang down the walls. Our lines can then rise up and down on these with the water levels. We navigate the channel carefully on our way out and find ourselves with another rolly sail all the way across to Le Havre. We had to slow down and wait for a couple of cargo ships going across the entrance before we could safely enter, but there was plenty of room to prepare the lines and fenders once in the marina and with the protection of the breakwater. We hadn't been here before, so there was plenty to see as we walked around the town. After just 2 nights in Le Havre, the forecast shows over a week of northeasterly winds on the way. So we leave before the sunrise to start our passage to Dieppe, which will be the last stop before we head back to Dover. We needed the early start to make sure we would arrive in Dieppe while the marina office was still open and the port police were still on duty, as we needed to pay for the marina and get our passports stamped so we could leave France early the next day. We were successful in completing both jobs, and on the way back round to the marina we could take a look around the town and see the kite festival by the beach. It was a shame we couldn't stay longer, but if we wanted to miss the northeasterly winds, we needed to leave tomorrow. We enjoy a last meal out of moule frites and then sit up deck in the evening. We were surprised how busy the night shift was in the marina. It's the 19th of September, our last day before we finally complete our circumnavigation of the UK. It was a beautiful day and probably the hottest day of our entire trip, but there wasn't much wind and it gave us the opportunity to get the Jenica up. We made great progress and sailed for nearly 6 hours with the Jenica, only taking it down when we reached Cap Gris-Nez and turned to cross the English Channel. It was wonderful to have such beautiful weather for our final sail home. As excited as we were to see family and friends after 5 months away, we also couldn't quite believe the adventure was coming to an end. We We called up Dover VTS 2 miles offshore as required and enjoyed the beautiful sunset as we made our approach to the western entrance. We've crossed our track. We did it. We've completed our circumnavigation of the UK. With friends waiting on the pontoon to take our lines and a glass of bubbly, it was the perfect end to the perfect adventure. We had been away for 160 nights and just under 3,000 miles travelled. We spent 67 nights in marinas, 21 nights on mooring buoys and 72 on anchor. What an adventure! Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the series of videos. If you have, and you haven't seen them all, why not go back to the beginning and part 1 when we're leaving Dover on April the 12th. Thank you again, and see you next year when we head off on our next adventure. But more about that next time.